Atoms are the smallest parts of an element that can exist, and they make up every single thing in the universe. They're made up of 3 even smaller particles known as subatomic particles. These are protons, neutrons and electrons. The center of an atom is known as the nucleus, and it contains just protons and neutrons. Surrounding the nucleus are the electrons which orbit around it. Protons have a positive charge with a mass of 1. Neutrons have a neutral charge of 0 and also have a mass of 1, and electrons have a charge of -1 and have a mass that's very small. The nucleus holds nearly all of the mass of an atom, but is about 10,000 times smaller than the total size of it. Its radius is around 1 times 10 to the minus 14 meters, whereas for an atom it's around 1 times 10 to the minus 10. Atoms as a whole are neutral and have no overall charge. This is because they have the same number of positive protons and negative electrons. These charges cancel out, leaving the atom with an overall charge of 0. The atoms of an element can be represented by chemical symbols with 2 numbers. The bigger number is the mass number, which tells you the number of neutrons plus protons in an atom. And the bottom number is the atomic number, which tells you the number of protons. To find the number of neutrons, you need to subtract the atomic number from the mass number. So for example, for potassium, the atomic number is 19, which tells you that there are 19 protons. Atoms have a neutral charge, so this means the number of electrons is also 19. The number of neutrons can be found by subtracting 19 from 39 to give 20 neutrons. An element is defined as a substance made up of one type of atom. There are over 100 different discovered elements which can all be found in the periodic table. All the atoms in an element always contain the same number of protons in their nucleus. If they have a different number of protons, they're classified as different elements. This means that the atomic number of an atom determines what element it is. On the other hand, if the number of neutrons of an atom were to change, the elements would still stay the same, but the atom would be a different isotope. Isotopes are defined as different forms of the same element with the same number of protons and different number of neutrons. This means they have the same atomic number but different mass numbers. So for example, here we have 3 different isotopes of carbon. All 3 have the same number of protons of 6 as they're the same element, however they each have different number of neutrons. When 2 or more elements react, their atoms combine and form compounds. The elements in compounds are joined in fixed proportions and the atoms are held together by chemical bonds. The compound formed from 2 elements reacting have different properties to the starting elements. So for example, hydrogen and oxygen are both flammable gases, but when they react together they form water, which is a liquid and is not flammable at all. You can represent compounds using formulas which show the atoms of each element within it. For example, water is H2O, which means it has 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom bonded together. Here are a few more examples you can try yourself. Okay, now let's try a quiz on this topic. See how many questions you can get right. If you liked that video and want to see more, remember to subscribe to Flash Revision Lab to get notified every time we release new content.